The Wellbeing Radio app brings you fast and easy access to all of our content. Users can enjoy expert opinions, talk shows, relaxation music, mindfulness, meditations, and so much more. Our app has exclusive content including competitions, courses, and access to our founders' innovative Yoga Nidra sound journey, fused with binaural beats. Download the app now, available on iOS and Android. Wellbeing Radio, audio for mind, body, and soul.
Hey, this is Iona Russell, your personal freedom activator with Shine On. Episode 3. Isn't that exciting? And we're on Wellbeing Radio, audio for the mind, body, and soul. So I'm sharing real talk, tips and techniques for activating freedom from within your soul so you can live a life of purpose and live your legacy now. So it's time to let go and live it, feeling fulfilled, happy, and friggin' magnificent without the BS, and that's the limiting belief system. I'm an international author, speaker, and transformational coach and clinical hypnotherapist. And last week we were talking about choosing how we want to be, feel, and how we want to show up in our lives. And I've had quite a few emails saying, okay, well, that kind of makes sense in theory, but what about purpose and how I want to find that? For some reason, when I was sharing about how we want to show up in the world and how we want to feel, for a lot of you, that was bringing up, well, I want to feel that I'm fulfilled. I want to feel that I'm on purpose. And that's not necessarily a feeling that I was discussing last week. So we're going to start talk about that today. So I'm curious, are you feeling inspired? And do you love to get out of bed in the morning? Like you can't wait to jump up and just get on with your day? Or are you feeling sort of disillusioned, unmotivated? You know, that like blah, kind of feel like you're living somebody else's life, or you're feeling sort of lost and that you're living the life that everybody told you you should want to live, and the life that you were meant to aspire to. And this is what success is meant to be. Now, we're going to ponder this for a little bit today. And I want you to just consider, what is purpose? Like, what does it mean to you? And are you living it? Now, it doesn't always mean that people sometimes think, well, to be living my purpose, I have to be making a living at it. Not necessarily. I mean, it's friggin' brilliant if you can. But, when your purpose and fulfillment and everything comes together, it can also be something that you do on the side, or because of the abundance in your life, because of your work, you're able to create something brilliant on the side, like building wells in a country where they're lacking water, or anything, or helping people within your neighborhood, within the community. Purpose doesn't have to have a life of purpose doesn't mean it has to be your job. It can be something that you do because of the job that you have. It gives you that ability. You have abundance. And for some of us, we dream of having purpose. We want that to be our job. And that's perfectly freaking brilliant, quite frankly, because I work with the people on both aspects. And I'm working with people who really, they may have it all. So let's say they're in corporate and they love their job and they're doing really well, but they kind of want something else. They feel that something's missing and they're not quite sure what it is. Or it could be somebody who's starting on the entrepreneurial journey and they're just like, man, I thought this would be easier, but something's missing. So we get to explore what's missing. And it's about balance. So for me, working with my clients, it's purpose is aligned with love. It's something that you love. Oh my gosh, like you love it. It's juicy. As I said earlier, you want to jump up out of bed to go and do it. It always, always, always includes giving back, whether it's giving back to the community, whether it's giving back within the family, whether it's giving back to the greater good, for a higher purpose. And it's something that's bigger than you. It's something that, yeah, you can't quite put your finger on it if you were trying to describe it. But oh my gosh, like it's like 4th of July fireworks where you feel lit up from the inside. Now, it doesn't quite have to be as intense as that. It can be calming. It doesn't have to be fireworks, but you get the idea. And, and when you're not feeling like that, it's kind of you're feeling, from my experience, from people I've worked with, is you feel disconnected from your life and from what's happening around you. You're uninspired, and you may be looking for purpose outside of yourself in external gratification, external reward, external approval, people pleasing to try and get that approval, and trying to satisfy yourself maybe with, quite frankly, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It's where you're trying to fit something into that space that's within, because your purpose, it comes from inside. Your purpose lights you up. It's not something you have to do. It's something you get to do, and you just can't help but enjoy it. And you're feeling in alignment with your purpose. And when you are, you're feeling fulfilled, feel free, and even if you're working hard at this purpose, whatever it is for you, you're not exhausted. Like when you want to flake out, you're inspired by your exhaustion. If you're motivated by it still, you don't mind putting in the time because it lights your soul up, and your relationships are better. This is something people don't realize when they start working with me on this. They don't notice at first, or I guess they're not aware that it's going to affect their relationships so much, because the balance, the ripple effect from living your purpose, whether it's within your career or something you do because your career's enabled you to do it with finances, but your relationships get better because you are feeling good and energized, and people are drawn to you, and your personal relationships, your romantic relationships, well, they just improve. And this is the thing. It's about having balance. It's about looking at all areas of your life so that it all just comes in alignment. And obviously from all these things I've just mentioned, you're happy. And you're not in this stage where you're going, I'll be happy when, and if I do that, or when I can figure out my purpose, I'll be happy. It's like, well, no, start doing it now, please, 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 please. And I'm telling you, I'm reassuring you that it's in the breadcrumbs. It's in those little bits that light you up. And I'm telling you, it's something you're already aware of already. You may not know it, and it may be hidden under some layers, but it's something that you're already curious about, or you've thought about it before. And there are some questions that I'm going to put out to you that we'll go into in the second half after we've had a break, so that you can start to explore this yourself, because the breadcrumbs, that's the secret sauce. That's the juiciness. That's where we get to go, oh, yeah. And then when you look back in hindsight, you're like, oh, I can't believe I wasn't doing whatever it is. And I'll also share a story with one of my clients that I was working with, this amazing, amazing young man. I say young because he's younger than me, Actually, I think he was late 20s, early 30s, and he was doing brilliant in his career, and he couldn't understand it. He was just feeling dissatisfied. And his work gave him an amazing amount of freedom with the money that he earned, but something was missing. And so we explored that, and we looked for the breadcrumbs and the things that light him up. And he has completely pivoted. He has redesigned the life that he wants based around the purpose and what he wants to bring for the higher good. So with that thought, I'm going to take us to a wee break where we can kind of groove and chill out. And when we come back, I'm going to cover some questions with you so that you can start to explore what your purpose is. Or maybe you want more, like you're kind of on purpose, but there's a little bit more juice you want to add to it, So we're going to take a wee break with the song My Grit by Basio. Enjoy. And welcome back. So how was that, everyone? So as I was saying before we went into the wee song, that we get to explore our purpose, and we're going to uncover the breadcrumbs just with a couple of questions. Because have you been living the life that other people told you should live? Sometimes referred to as the American dream. And that doesn't mean you have to be in America for this to apply. It's everywhere. Like, I'm in Scotland. It's that dream that society has told us we have to pursue, we must want, and when we do it, we'll be happy. When we get there, wherever there is, and you might actually be there. You've accomplished everything you set out to do. Your middle management maybe, or higher, or maybe you have your own successful business, but something's missing and you don't know. So we're going to explore some of this, and because we all want to get to that point where we're curious about our life. We're excited by our life. I mean, who doesn't want that? And now, excitement doesn't mean we're on hyperdrive all the time. It just means it lights us up from the inside. That's what it is for me. You can't see me, but I've got my hands on my heart, and yeah, it's like, it's the stuff it's the stuff we're all aiming towards. That to me is the dream. That to me is what we could all have. And it's maybe not gotten to in the traditional sense, or I certainly did not take the normal route to success. I did not take that straight, narrow path, just going in one direction. I've had so many side trips, taken side paths. Some of them have been fun, some of them not so fun. But you get to come back, and it all adds to our experience and to the richness of life. So let's explore some of these questions so that at the end of the show, you can kind of think about them, journal on them, meditate on them, contemplate them. And also you can drop me an email and let me know how you're getting on. It's Iona at wellbeingradio.co.uk. So do you know what purpose means to you? I mean, really, have you thought about that? Because you're allowed to think about that, and you're allowed to have everything you want. That's not greedy, because when we get the things that we want from a heart-led, loving space, we're just like, our cup is full, and we can give and we can share. And, it's when our cup is full and it flows over, we have so much more we can give to the world. And that's exciting. So what is it you want? How do you want to do that? So what does purpose mean to you? And something to consider, because I want you to explore what your values are. And is the life you're living right now, is that in alignment with what your values are, what's important to you? Because we need to bring everything into alignment. And who are you? I mean, really, contemplate that. Who are you? Ask yourself, who am I really? I don't mean whether you're a husband, wife, mother, daughter, colleague, sister. I don't mean that. I mean, who are you underneath the things that you do on a daily basis, underneath the stuff? Who are you? And how do you want to impact the world? And look at the person you are now, and look at the person that you were, let's say, maybe 5 years ago, and how have you changed? And what aspects would you like to keep? What is it that's really you and in alignment with where you're going? And are all your choices being driven by your heart and your soul, so that when you look forward, your unique gifts are all hidden in plain sight? They're hidden in the things you do, or the things you used to do. Sometimes when we look back, we go, oh, well, I don't do that anymore. But I used to love whatever it is. I don't want to put ideas into your head, so it's, and when do you feel the most alive, the most you, the most real of you that you have ever been? And is it recently? And if you were 100% safe, what would you do? And next, if money was no object, what would you do? I mean, really, if money was no object, so there's no limits here. Is it the limits you put on yourself? Which I've I've been known to say that a couple times. And what comes easy to you? In those moments where to everybody else, they're like, wow, I can't believe you're able to do that. Or you don't know that it's something that other people can't do because it comes so easy to you. It's just natural. And when do you feel the most useful? Because when we're talking of purpose, and for me anyway, it's something that's bigger than you. It's giving back. And the core of this is your heart, and it's coming from a place of love. It really is. And as we're drawing towards the end of our show, I'm going to talk more in the next shows about my 5 portals. That would be great. You've heard it here first on Wellbeing Radio. The 5 portals to success, inspired success. We're going to start unpacking those. And these are some of the processes that I use with some of my clients. And so knowing that you have something to look forward to in the next show, I'm going to sign off. Love you and leave you, as they say. And you can follow me on IGTV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all the usual. But you can find all of my links on the main page on Wellbeing Radio and at my website, ionarussell.com. And if you want to drop me an email, that's iona@wellbeingradio.co.uk. And from my heart to yours, shine on, shine bright. It's time to let go and it's time to live it.
Wellbeing Radio. Audio from mind, body and soul. Online, on demand, on the go. Make sure you visit our website, wellbeingradio.co.uk.